My name is Ryan and I'm in recovery. Um, for those who haven't seen my previous videos, I'm 102 days clean from cocaine. I'm 38 years old, I've been using since I was a teenager. It's been a big kind of problem for a long time. It kind of became this kind of big secret where I was using a lot by myself in isolation, and like it was ruining my life. It kind of all came to a head in January when my partner Amy found out, and so did my sister, and then I kind of told my family, and then since then I've been to rehab and I'm documenting my recovery journey since getting out of rehab. I worked in the music industry, so I'm also kind of sharing a few little stories from my time in the music industry. Just to say as well, the last video that I shared, the reason I can't reveal the name of the person is because he has a long-term partner who's female. So yeah, that's an obvious reason not to share his name. So this story, yeah, it was the same club. I was running a show on a Saturday night. We had two DJs playing, one doing the first 3 hours, one doing the second 3 hours, and the headline DJ, who's kind of like mid-level DJ, plays like Houghton, Love International, Deck Mantle, those sort of lineups. He was playing, and I'd kind of checked in with him already early in the night and just said, checked in, make sure his hotel was fine, sorted out his transport. You know, normally you just let them know that you arrange their taxis for them to get to and from the venue for the show. So I'd just let him know what time he was getting picked up and all that kind of stuff. He, about an hour before the show, he texted me and said, "I'm looking for Top Shelf Fun. Can you help?" And I was like, "Top Shelf Fun? What does he mean by that?" So I asked a couple of other people at the club and they didn't really know, and I was like, Top Shelf Fun, to me that makes me think of like adult magazines or that kind of vibe. So I was like, does he want me to sort him out like a hooker? Like that seems a bit weird. So anyway, I went back and forth with him, and actually turned out what he meant was he wanted coke, but he wanted top shelf cocaine because he said he'd been awake for days and he really needed it to kind of do a good show. So I was like, yeah, fine, I'll sort it for you. And then he was like, can you get me 3 grams, and can you get the first gram, put it all out in one line in front of the decks, so that as soon as I start playing I can just do it and it will kind of give me that boost I need to get through the set. I was like, yeah, rogue request, but yeah, fine, I'll sort it. So anyway, I texted my dealer and was like, I always have had this similar spot, like kind of behind the club on a back street, that I would meet him. Arranged it all. He then texted me however long later saying his driver was there, so I came out to meet him. Important thing to note is it's always a different driver. It wasn't just one guy that I met each time. But anyway, I got in the car, did the deal, had some small talk, and as I was walking back to the club, I looked at the bag that I just bought and I noticed it was pills that was in the bag, not powder. So I quickly went back to the driver and was like, mate, you sold me pills, it's coke that I want. And he was like, oh, sorry, mate, how much did you want? I was like, yeah, 3 grams. So got the 3 grams. And then as I was walking back to the club, I then got a text from my dealer saying, you haven't met the driver yet, where are you? And I was like, yeah, I just met him, I did the deal. And he was like, no, you haven't. And it turns out I'd got into a different car, and it also happened to be a drug dealer, which I guess goes to show just how common drug dealing is on the streets on a Friday, Saturday night in London. I'd actually just happened at exactly the same right time, got into a different car, and it happened to be a drug dealer. Anyway, so I was like, anyway, I had the drugs now, so I didn't want to have to buy another lot, so I just had to make my excuses with my dealer and go back to the club with the random coke that I bought off this other driver. Yeah, got back to the club. As requested by the DJ, I kind of cut up the gram line, like laid it out in front of the decks, and as soon as he arrived, he did it all in one go. And he was dishing out to here 2 mates of him as well that he kind of gave maybe a bag each to or whatever. And yeah, half an hour later, I kind of came into the green room, and one of his mates basically was trying to like fight me, was like screaming and shouting at me, how dare I sell this coke that's so shit, blah, blah, blah. And it turns out that the coke I bought off this random driver was like awful. Like it was basically like cut with all loads of stuff, and I just bought some like dodgy coke. I didn't even think about the fact that when I ended up buying the coke off the random guy, I didn't think how much the quality would be. Obviously the dealer that I was using regularly to buy coke for the DJs was good quality, hence why I used him. I'd pay a bit more, but I know that the coke was good quality. So yeah, because I'd got into the wrong car, I'd ended up buying like what's called pub grub. And this DJ's hangers-on were like furious about it. They're like, we've been up for days now because you've given us shit coke, we feel really ill. And we're like, acting like I'd wronged them in some way. I was like, I've given you free drugs, I went out and got it for you, it's in your hand, and the only reason you have it is because you're friends with a DJ. Like, get a grip, you're so self-entitled. The DJ himself was actually fine about it. And when he finished his set, he was kind of like, "Oh, that coke wasn't great, was it?" And I kind of explained the story to him, and we kind of laughed about it together. But we actually ended up going down into the basement of the club and having an after party, and I think the after party lasted like a day and a half. It turns out he was a massive caner, although I've since heard that he's kind of on the mend and living a slightly clean lifestyle these days.